So I've come to realize that I haven't been on here in about a month, and I don't want to let the 12 people that watch my videos down. So I decided to post something today, and I really can't think of anything more to talk about. But then a little obsession I've had lately, and that is I've been learning more and more about burlesque shows. And nowadays, a lot of people, when they hear burlesque, they're probably thinking, curvaceous women, um, going out on the stage and that's neo burlesque. They go out and it's like it doesn't matter what shape you are, just go out and shake your whatever. And they're like it's so very different from stripping in a club because those girls are so gorgeous. And then I think to myself, women that think that way have never actually been inside an actual strip club because strippers come in all shapes and sizes and guys will pay for whatever. But they act like it's a woman's empowerment movement now. And back in the day, that's not what it was. It was a way to make money, a way a woman could make a really good amount of money. It's the same thing as stripping now. And you study it, and the reason why I've been studying it is because of the comedians that would perform at burlesques. And thanks to some documentaries come out, that I've learned that the format of a old burlesque show was basically like a vaudeville show, only with stripping in it. It would start out with like a chorus girl dance number, then there'd be the comedians would come out, then there'd be a strip tease, then another big dance number, then another strip tease, and then the comedians would come out again. And they said it was like about an hour and a half long show, and then you get out, and then a new audience comes in, and they do the show all over again. I just think that's interesting, and nowadays they'll sit there and say, well, the focus is on the tease and not on the strip, and actually, I just learned last night watching a documentary that there were strips and there were teases, and then Fifi, someone Larue or something like that, she came up with the strip tease. She mixed the two acts together, which just interesting to learn that type of stuff. But really, what I like to learn about is again the baggy pants comedians, and so I found a really interesting movie called Lady of Burlesque, and I watched it, and it was really cool for me because I got to see Pinky Lee in this movie. Pinky Lee is one of the inspirations for the character Pee Wee Herman, which is, you know, like my family can attest for me. Those that watch my YouTube videos, they'll sit there and say, "Yeah, he loves Pee Wee Herman. He watched that every week." And that's a to think he used to work at burlesque shows, and then he had his own kids show, the Pinky Lee Show, and it's just interesting to see that and to see the types of acts they perform. And they really weren't as body as I would think they would be in a burlesque show, but they'd get a little blue. They'd make jokes about women. Well, rather their reactions to women, rather than women are dumb, and it wasn't like that. It was more like they were dumb and the women were hot and they couldn't help themselves when it came to that. And it was the old format that is basically a clown format. You have the straight guy that's smarter, and then you have the dumb guy. But then the dumb guy would sometimes pull tricks on the straight guy. It was a relationship of power that had its inequalities, but one would always better the other. Um, and some typical examples of this is just Lou Costello and Bud Abbott routines. You know, and then also a lot of clown routines that came from the book Tristan Remy's clown scenes. That was the inspiration. The clowns would perform it, and those went on, and then comedians, comics would basically rip the stuff. But there was always in the group there was the straight guy. I'm rambling now, but there was the straight guy, and there was the baggy pants comedian, and he was essentially a clown. He would wear a goofy outfit, usually baggy pants, and his jacket was probably too tight, and he'd wear probably a little hat on his head, which is why I kind of wear this hat now because it's a little bit smaller looking and it fits my head, but it doesn't look like it fits my head. And I can do little goofy hat tricks with it as well. But that's where I get that from. And in learning about this, I've decided that I might go back into performing at comedy clubs again. So I'm kind of announcing that to give me kind of a motivation to go out there and do that. I'll probably start going over and doing some open mics and try to integrate clowning with stand-up comedy, and which in the middle, that's kind of baggy pants comedy. I'm going to be a goofy character talking about doing some sort of observational humor. And I got my start with the captive audience last night. We had a party over here, and I was doing some goofy routines where I was playing with my suspenders and I was honking a horn, and then I would make comments and jokes, and people thought it was funny. I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe it's time for me to start performing again. So, all right, you heard it from me here. Hopefully, within a couple weeks or maybe a month or two, I'll be back into performing again. Uh, or I could just continue being a loser and just post videos on YouTube and not even do clown videos anymore, you know. But hopefully, and I am planning on doing another Mr. Zero clown video soon. I just haven't decided exactly what. Probably something really short because those get a little bit labor intensive for a guy who has a lot on his plate already. So until then, hasta la vista.